The legend of Voltron, defender of the universe. A mighty robot loved by good, feared by evil.
Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Voltron Legendary Defender, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Hayley Nabuurs.
Hello.
Jeff Anderson.
Howdy.
And Justin Cummings.
Hello.
We are back to talk Voltron Legendary Defender Season 6 here at the Overly Animated Podcast. We will be going through all of Season 6 this weekend on the release weekend, and we'll be going two episodes at a time, except for the finale. We'll be watching at the pace that we are recording the podcast once again. I thought about doing a different format, but we'll potentially save that for next season. So if you're listening to this, we're just going to be discussing the episodes that we're talking about, which are this podcast, episodes 1 and 2 of Season 6, Omega Shield and Razor's Edge. So spoilers for these two episodes will be coming up, but we have not seen beyond this yet. So no spoilers in the comments and everything like that, and we'll take it as we are going. Very excited to get back into Voltron, and to open the podcast, you heard from Days of Long Ago by the Shakeups, a power pop music collective whose album Legendary Defenders is out now. There's a link in the podcast description, and we'll hear more of that song at the end of the podcast. So yeah, we have music accompaniment to Season 6. It's great. A big season of Voltron. This is a true finale season as well. We're getting episode 52, so it's the end of a 26. So despite Netflix's season breakdowns, actual season finale coming up. Very exciting. And we're getting into Omega Shield and Razor's Edge today, so make sure you've seen these episodes. But yeah, let's overlyanimated.com and subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to our iTunes feed to not miss any of our upcoming Voltron podcasts. So let's get into things here. Let's get some initial takes on Omega Shield and Razor's Edge. Hayley, what did you think of these two episodes?
I think they were good. Surprisingly to myself, I preferred Razor's Edge to Omega Shield. I only say that because I like Keith, but he's not like, I don't feel a strong connection to him, but I really liked that episode. But Omega Shield was neat. It was a good, like, I guess, beginning of the season kind of thing. I'm happy they didn't spend too much time recapping what had happened already. They just kind of dove right in, which was nice, especially with a Netflix airing schedule as well. Like it's not necessary.
That's because it's not a real season premiere. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it makes sense to have it that way, which is good. I didn't really get the fight in it, like the motivation of Sendak with like, you could have like killed them right there, but he just left, so that was whatever. But I think Razor's Edge was neat. I didn't too much care for the romance drama plotline in that, but Keith and his mom was really neat actually, and I also liked it as operating kind of like as a catching up episode with them, because we didn't see Keith a whole lot in the last like season and a couple seasons. He's just kind of been off the map, so it explains that, because he's been gone for 2 years. Whether that is 2 years to them or 2 years to us, we don't really know. But it was interesting, especially because we've got this new cool character in his mom, so it was neat to see. And I don't know the first thing about physics, but it seemed really neat from a physics space kind of perspective. Which
I don't think these are real physics, but yeah.
Yeah, no. There's like a space time traveling whale thing, which I'm down for that.
Space whales. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's 2 years from. It's like one of those things where 2 years passes by the span of like a day for us. Like, we'll get into that more. But yeah, so your thumbs up, especially on the second episode.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
First is kind of like, it's cool.
All right, Jeff, what did you think of these two episodes?
Well, so I hadn't rewatched Season 5, so the first episode was a little bit jarring, just because it is not an actual season premiere. So, like I said, they didn't go and rehash everything. So I was like, wait, what was Lotor doing? What's this quintessence field thing? Oh yeah, the mom's a thing. Anyways, so that's just how it is. I really enjoyed the setting of the conflict in the first episode, like the planet with the periodic radiation thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty clever. And raising the stakes with Shiro's condition. I'm glad it's finally coming out and being more noticeable. Although they kind of didn't do anything with that in the second episode, which was a little bit disappointing. but I also really liked the flashbacks. That was a very nice, once again, a clever mechanism of doing that and being all physicsy. Although it did feel very rushed in episode 2.
Yeah. All right, thumbs up. Yeah, well, I have it on good authority we'll be getting the Shiro resolution this season. That's what the creators have said in interviews. So we'll have plenty of Shiro stuff to come in the remaining 5 episodes, I'm sure. Okay, Justin, what do you think of these 2 episodes?
I like these a lot, actually. I thought Omega Shield was pretty good. I was happy to see a Hunk subplot that didn't involve food in any way. I felt that it was actually... I like this idea of Hunk being our... not necessarily Galra insider, but our ambassador, perhaps, between the 2 groups. I really liked how that played out. I thought it was very, very cool. I love the character of the governess, Lotor's nanny. I thought she was really fun. Yeah, it was a nice way to kind of get back into it. I had just seen season 5 like less than a week ago, so it wasn't really back into it for me. But I really, really loved Razor's Edge. I think it's one of the best episodes the show has done, and I'm biased because I love odd physics, time loopy stories like this. I got major Interstellar vibes the entire time. I thought it was really good. And to me, the highlight, yes, Keith's mom was great, and I was so happy to see all of that. But to me, the 2 highlights of the episode were Keith's dad, who I don't know if we had seen him before, and I just forgot this, but he is a very attractive man, and I very much enjoyed those flashbacks because, oh my goodness, yeah, Keith's dad is...
His accent killed me.
We've had discussions on this podcast before of how quickly I would end up marrying an alien. If I was the alien in this case, I would go Keith's dad in a heartbeat. Like, ooh. Oof.
You're feeling
yes.
you're feeling Crowley here. Okay, gotcha.
I get it. I totally get it. And then also Keith has a teleporting wolf thing now.
Yes.
Like, that's the best.
I thought it was a little out of nowhere, and I was like, really? We're doing the random animal companion? And then he threw the stick, and the wolf didn't chase it, and then I was sold. I'm like, okay, sold. So I love this episode so much.
Space Wolf, yeah, teleporting Space Wolf. I was for the second I saw the Space Wolf, I was in love with it. Yeah,
they have to bring it back.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
I think the Space Wolf is going to try to eat the mice at some point.
Yeah,
like
probably.
I'm fine with that.
That's gonna be a gag.
Take them away.
Let's just get rid of the mice. Yeah,
the mice are very important in this episode.
They had a lot to do. Yeah,
and which I will. Before we move on, I just want to say quickly. I really like the romance in this episode. Not necessarily that I ship either Allura and Lotor or Allura and Lance, but I think they're handling both sides of this better than I thought they were going to, considering early Lance and considering the original show of Lotor and Allura was very, very, very unhealthy. I really like what they're doing here.
Yeah, we'll talk the romance. Don't worry. We got to get into all the ships. We gotta get. Okay. Yeah, I loved Razor's Edge. Boy, that's a fantastic episode. It's the A plot is where it's at because we have all we tell this flashback love story between, Crowlia and Keith's still unnamed father.
Poor guy.
Who, yeah, I guess he's dead as we kind of see at the end, but I don't remember to the extent that he was in the show before, but it was extremely little. And, it was wonderful seeing that, like the setting of the Quantum Abyss was gorgeous. And then at the end, much like Justin, I absolutely love, like time, when stories where time goes faster for one character than another character. And, these, like, it's my number one, like, narrative trope. And they did it here in 2 minutes, which felt very rushed, but I still loved it. And it had the Space Wolf. And yeah, I think, like the B plot, we'll talk about the romance stuff. I thought it was fine. It definitely feels insignificant compared to how great the A stuff was, but, regardless, overall, Razor's Edge, I think, is fantastic. And, Omega Shield, I don't think is nearly as good, but it still has some cool stuff in it. I really appreciate that it's a Hunk episode because, Hunk was, arguably one of the worst characters on any show we cover, not because, like, they just refuse to characterize him. Like, he's just isn't in the show. So he gets like, a significant plot in Omega Shield. And I had heard before the season season in reviews, it's like, we finally get a Hunk episode and it's great. And I was a little underwhelmed based on that because he wasn't the dominant force in the episode. He was just a solid part of it. But still, it was good compared to what we'd gotten from Hunk. And I agree with Jeff, the setting with the radiation beam or whatever and the shield and that, like, that was really cool. Definitely a lot less in that episode than Razor's Edge. I want to jump right into Razor's Edge to start here and then get into Omega Shield later because I mean, I'm tempted to jump into the romance drama because it makes for good podcast discussion, but I guess we can discuss the Keith and Crowley plot where they are looking for this special quintessence that they found apparently last season, and they're trying to backtrack it through the quantum abyss, which they give an explanation for, and I'm still confused. Jeff, did you have thoughts on the concept of the quantum abyss and how the show explained it?
It really was all just sort of gobbledygook words. Yeah. Although, I mean, the mechanism, like, it's a real thing, like gravitational time dilation. That's all legit. So I thought it was a clever little, like, oh yeah, we got to stay away from that, or else we'll get like torn apart, because that's what happens when you get close to the event horizon of a black hole. Is like the gravity at your feet is so much stronger than the gravity at your head that you turn into a string. Is basically what happens. Is what they think, anyways. And like, I don't claim to have this fact off the top of my head, but I was just looking at it. Apparently, like, because when you're close to a gravity field, your clock slows down. The core of the Earth apparently is 2.5 years younger than the crust, because it's so close to the gravity field of the Earth. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That kind of number kind of lines up with the 2 years we're getting at the end there. I'm interested to see how much time has passed for everyone else.
I don't like the fact that they made this have 2 years pass, because it does not look like 2 years passed. And if 2 years did pass, they'd be dead of starvation. So that was a little bit of a break in, suspension of disbelief. But whatever.
Right, they didn't show us enough. Like it's the concept was that this is just a planet on the back of the space whale, and so they just lived there. Like we saw Keith feeding his new wolf something, like they have food. They like killed the thing that was attacking it, and then I guess I don't know if they fed that to him or something else. But yeah, they living in that cave. Like they had a whole life there. Like they got the mother son bonding that they never got because Crowley left, as we saw in the flashbacks. But
we didn't bonding though. It's like they didn't show any of it.
Right. That's my thing. It's like, couldn't this have been more than 2 minutes? Like I feel like this is such an interesting concept.
Yeah, could have been half an episode.
Yeah, like I feel like those 2 minutes to me are so much more interesting than literally anything in Omega Shield, or like a lot of episodes of the show. Like I would have loved to see like entire episode of that. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll go back to this in future episodes. Like we haven't seen the rest of the season yet, but yeah, I can understand people being confused as like the mechanisms of what's happening with the two of them. But I do think the intent is like they started a new life there on the back of this whale while it was going through the quantum abyss, and then eventually they got out into this planet on the other side. Which let's talk about that, because at the end of the episode they find, I guess, the planet that they think the special quintessence originated on, and they go into like this building or something, and then it opens up into a forest, and then they find an Altean woman, which is interesting because at the end of Omega Shield we see Hagar turning kind of back into Altean looking, into her Minerva self.
So excited about that. What's going to come of that?
Yeah, that was definitely the most exciting part of Omega Shield. But is that Minerva? Is that Hagar at the end of this episode? Like, no, right? Because it doesn't look like her.
No.
I don't think so, but that would be interesting if like Keith came back with Minerva, and that's how she ended up like back facing Lotor, was like she hitched a ride with Keith, basically. Like it would be interesting, but I don't think that's what's happening.
Yeah, like the Minerva in the flashback episode that we saw a while ago, it does not look like this Altean woman we see, but it is back-to-back episodes we saw an Altean woman that is not Allura, so it's hard not to compare the two of them. It would be interesting if this was like past Minerva and you had like past Minerva and Hagar at the same time. And anyway, yeah, if it's not Hagar, what do we think is up with this Altean woman we see at the end here? Are we in the past?
Maybe.
No, it looks an awful lot like that holodeck thing that they had on the castle back in like season 1 or 2.
Are you familiar with Doctor Who?
Yes.
You know how like Gallifrey was hidden like in a little pocket dimension?
Oh.
I think that's what this might be. I think there might be more Alteans there. I think this planet.
So
on
do you
the
think
other
you think
side
Altea wasn't destroyed? It was.
If not
it was just
Altea
hidden.
Hidden away.
If not all of Altea, a lot of Alteans.
Yeah, like a group of them got away.
They were hidden
Like
in the
lost
at the other side of the quantum
Oh,
abyss.
I like that.
Well, it's weird because they're in a Galran facility, so.
Yeah, I'm not clear what the building was, but I guess it was a type of Galran facility. But and the other factor here is that we have other dimensions in play in the show. We had one episode visiting another dimension, and we know that Lotor's space like comet that his ships are based on was from was from another dimension. So like that this could just be alternate dimension Altea.
Are we allowed to use episode? Is episode names considered a spoiler?
Yes. Let's not.
Okay.
Probably misleading, but we'll see. I didn't. I've seen the other ones, and none of them seem particularly spoilery for me. But yeah. So we'll see what's up with that. Maybe this is frustrating for people who've seen the whole season already, but this discussion. But yeah, it's very interesting that we have back-to-back episodes ending on like an Altean cliffhanger here. I do like the Doctor Who comparison with like what if Altea was never destroyed. I mean, would that mean Allura's dad back alive? Like maybe alternate dimension him. We could get him back in play.
I think he's gone, honestly.
Yeah,
we spent a lot of emotional weight on that already.
Exactly.
Yeah, like he doesn't need to come back.
Yeah, I think it'd be cheap. Yeah,
I think they're gonna tease that he's back, but he's not. Like I think Allura will have that kind of false hope and run through the crowd, and then he's not there.
Yeah, if we ultimately do anything like this, but. I guess. Allura's not with them, but Keith is there, and there is an Altean person. So it also could just be her, right? Like, could she just like she was on a trip when the planet got destroyed. She's stuck in the quantum abyss or something. So there's a third Altean left or a fourth.
Or maybe this is like with the time messingness of it all. Maybe she's like way back Altean and is like the source of the quintessence or something like crazy.
Yeah,
like
what if
that?
She's like the quintessence goddess?
Yeah. Like this is her when she was young, and then she became the white lion thing or something. Or I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
So many things could happen.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see about that. But yeah, let's this 2-year gap before we get there with Keith and Crowley. So do we think that Keith is just going to come back 2 years older than everyone else?
He has no beard. I wish they had given him a beard.
Like wanted a beard,
right? 2 years later,
at least stubble. Like we saw his dad with stubble. Come on.
Just back to the dad.
Exactly the same.
Does that mean you're a fan of Keith too, Justin?
I'm a fan of Keith. I'm
just not as much as his dad.
No, like no. Let me put it this way: if I had to watch a full episode, I'd rather watch a full episode of Keith because I think his character is more fleshed out. But if I had to hang a poster on my wall, Keith's
now,
dad.
If Keith had
wins.
stubble, then there you go.
Well,
if Keith had stubble and actually aged a couple years, like okay.
Of course, his character's more fleshed out. He has a name. First of all, that.
Oh, he doesn't need a name.
Okay, yeah, but you'll name him in your heart.
His name is mine.
Okay, that's a good one. It's my main takeaway from this 2-year thing is this wolf who can teleport. Keith's new pet. Yes. Its design is awesome. It's a space wolf. I love it.
Him.
Space wolf.
It's so what, Jeff?
It's so him. Like if they're going to move the wolf like that.
It's his alter ego. It's his spirit animal, and I love the ice foxes in the latest Star Wars main canonical movie, and this is I like space dog things. Yes, it's great.
Getting into Last Jedi.
Yeah, Last Jedi space. That was my favorite part of. No, there's a lot of parts of that movie, but I love this wolf. It's got to be here always this season, and it's gonna make Keith. It's gonna like soften him up because he is like a friend now. I don't buy it, but that could happen. Like how is this gonna change Keith that he comes back older than everyone? Because This is like I talked about, this is one of my favorite tropes when time passes for one character more than others. Two recent animation, or recent in quotes, animation examples that have been wonderful is Running with Scissors in Star vs. Force of Evil, when Marco ages like 10 years or something more than Star, and it's a wonderful episode. And like they kept that as part of the canon. And then also in Gravity Falls, you had Time Traveler's Pig, where we just had like Dipper, I think, repeating something over and over. It wasn't as drastic of a time thing, but yeah, that was that type of plotline really emotionally hits for me. And
I feel like since they didn't change their designs at all, except giving them a cool Space Wolf, I feel like they're not gonna like bring it up very much, honestly. Like, I wish they did, but I feel like he's not going to be like, I've been gone for 2 years, guys, and it'll be a whole thing.
Is a cool Space Wolf not enough? Is that what you're
might
saying?
be enough, but I think he should look 2 years older, right? Because how old are they supposed to be now? Like,
let's not get into that. It's different for every.
That's a great question.
Yeah, because like they should be growing. You know, it's not like they went from 30 to 32.
Yeah, it's, emotionally changed. We'll see. Like, if Keith does reunite with the Paladins, as the trailer might have suggested, then will he relate to them differently now that he's
got a cool wolf now, so
they're gonna like
he's
him
now better
more,
than all of them because he's got Space Wolf friends.
That's a compelling argument. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll track Keith's wolf throughout and see what the effects of these 2 years are. Let's talk the Wolf Watch, yeah. Hashtag Wolf Watch is what will be on this season. Let's talk the Crowlia and Keith's dad love story that we see. Not too much of a love story, but the Keith's parents.
It's
flashbacks.
a love story.
Were you emotionally invested, Justin?
I am in love. Like
other than
so
Keith's dad.
No, this was besides my uncomfortable level of attraction to Keith's dad. I thought it was really sweet. Like, I love seeing the alien that leaves behind their world for another person. Like, I'm a sucker for that storyline. I love it. And here it did feel pretty genuine. It felt interesting. I liked it. The only thing I don't like, I wish Keith had some Galra feature to his, like, person at all, like anything. But no, he looks just entirely human, which I think was a bad design choice. But I like the flashbacks. I like what we got. I thought it was interesting, and it explains a lot. Like, it did the job it needed to do of filling in the gaps, and I liked it.
Yeah. Hayley or Jeff, any emotional attachment to the...
I'm going to make the bold statement. I didn't feel that much love between Crowlia and Hot Dad, who will remain unnamed. Because honestly, like, she was like, I'm gonna leave, and he had no reaction. Like, he didn't fight for her to stay. He was like, okay, good luck with that. See you later, wife. So I feel like they could have done something. Like, he could have at least said, no, don't go, rather than just silently saying goodbye. So I feel like that was a little weird. But yeah, they seemed cool and chill. They kind of came across more as like buddies to me than anything. I don't know why. Like, we didn't even see them kiss or anything. The only point where I felt kind of sad, well, or not sad, but like emotion towards it was when they said, like, the scouts came down and they said that he had been neutralized, and Crowley was upset about that. I thought that was good. I wish we had more of that. Otherwise, it was just kind of them talking to each other and having a baby together. Which I suppose is romantic, but it didn't seem like there was nothing really there for me, unfortunately. But I think they could have had more.
Look, they're just two emotionally hardened people.
They really are, yeah.
Who presumably have been through a lot in their lives, although we have not seen that. And
but like, why didn't we get more about Hot Dad like accepting an alien into his life? Like, he just was so chill with that. Like,
he has no biases. He does not see. He doesn't see species. Like, this was perfectly
or
normal
like
for
Earthness, like planetness.
Well, the creators have said that they're willing to put some of these smaller plot lines. They're willing to spin it out into the comics a bit more. So if we just keep saying we want more Hot Dad enough, will get a one-shot that's just their backstory in the comics, and I will treasure it forever.
Yeah, you'll be the captain of that campaign for.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah.
Hashtag hot dad.
Hashtag hot dad, yeah, and hashtag Wolfwatch, 2 so far. Yeah, I was feeling them a little bit. I mean, it was obviously these are like it's like either Keith's parents, and Keith is the most unemotional, detached person.
He gets it, honestly.
Right, like that's what I thought. This did a good job of showing this is Keith's origin. Jeff, what do you think of these flashbacks for Keith?
I think I mean, it was good info. I agree, though, that there wasn't as much like emotional heft to any of it as there could have been. So it's good to know.
Good to know.
But
yeah,
it's probably not going to be a thing ever again.
Yeah, probably not. we'll see if we see Keith's dad.
Bye,
again.
hot dad.
We saw a flash within the ending of this episode of Keith at a tombstone. So presumably that's his dad, and sad. And yeah, and we saw it through Crolia's eyes. So like she saw like this is what happened after I left. Like this was the result. So that was pretty sad.
I'm excited for that fast forward though.
For the fast forward.
Yeah, the vision of the future.
Oh yeah, so let's talk that because this episode's very The Swamp from Avatar: The Last Airbender, because we have visions of the past, visions of the future. That this instead of the swamp will show you them. This vague sci-fi space concept will show you them, and we see one vision of the future which is
wait.
Yes.
Do we know for certain that was his dad's tombstone?
What
if it was his mom's?
Saw it.
Keith?
No, yeah.
What if it's the
future
future and it was his mom's tombstone?
No, he was a little baby.
He was a little kid. Yeah, he was like looked like five or something. Yeah.
But it might have been Crolia's like fake tombstone, that his dad made.
Yeah, maybe he told him his mom. Yeah, I don't think he thought that his mom was dead though. And it's
but
supposed
Crolia's sad, so.
Yeah, no, because she was sad. She was like, wow, now I'm seeing what happens. Like, there was, this is what I miss. Like, all this trauma that Keith suffered. Like, what if I stayed? Like, stuff like that. But yeah, let's talk the vision of the future. We see Shiro, turned evil, what we've been waiting for this whole time.
Finally.
Evil Shiro, it's coming. And he, like, called out to Keith or something. And, like, yeah, what do we think's up with bad Shiro? Is this something that's actually going to happen in the future?
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like,
Probably.
You're seeing, what's her name? Minerva, Haggar, one of those two.
Sendak.
Obviously manipulating him, but I'm not getting a big like devious vibe from what she's doing. I mean, she's changing back to Altean. What? Like, you wouldn't expect the evil baddie to be doing that at the same time as corrupting, Shiro. So I don't really get what she's doing here.
Right, because that's kind of what's hanging over this Shiro sleeper cell / clone / whatever plot line is that we kind of like trust Hagar to a certain extent. I mean, we don't like fully trust her, but like we know that she's
like my favorite character, so I'll be with Hagar in anything.
Yeah, well, we've established we're on Team Hagar. Yeah,
love her.
But we like her as a character, but like we don't think of her like Zarkon, like she's just this evil force. Like we kind of understand. We saw her backstory. We kind of understand where she's coming from a little bit. We know now that she knows her backstory as well. She remembered, so we don't think that even though the Shiro plot might have been from before she remembered, she might have started it then. So we don't like think of her as like this hugely devious figure. I agree. And so like why is she, and yet we know she's controlling Shiro, or we know that she is seeing them through his eyes. So like how are those two things going to, and how are those two things going to come into play? It does seem like Shiro was like activated to turn on the paladins in this flash forward, but I think it's kind of just like a vague showing of like Shiro, bad things gonna happen. But I think he had like something in his eyes, like it definitely like implied that this is not our Shiro.
No, he was glowing weirdly.
Very that's I think that this is number one at the top of all of our lists for what we're excited to see these next 5 episodes. Like what's gonna happen with Shiro? I mean, I'm pretty sure, since we're on this topic, I'm pretty sure, and I've not seen ahead, that we mentioned the quintessence field in this episode, and that's what Allura and Lotor are talking about in that they're saying that now, based on the finale of last season, Allura has the ability to access the quintessence field, and what they're doing is they're imbuing Lotor's like comet ship, I think, with that, much like King Alfor imbued the paladins or the lions with the quintessence field. It's like the existence of this quintessence field, like that's where Shiro is. Like that's probably where, like we saw last season, like we saw Shiro like calling for help or something once they went into the Voltron, like the astral Voltron plane, right? I think that's probably what the quintessence field is. I think those are the same things, and like that's where Shiro's been ever since the season 2 finale when he got stuck there after the like whatever they did some Voltron thing and he got stuck. So like I think that's where Shiro's hiding. And I like that we're like, I think we're kind of building to that by starting to like explicitly name the quintessence field and like put that into action in terms of other things in the plot. So the thing I'm most interested to see is like once we realize that our Shiro is there, it's like, what are we doing? Are we leaving him there, or can we bring him back? Like what's the show going to do?
Mm-hmm. And also Hagar was using like something probably relating to the quintessence field to bring her back to Minerva. So maybe that like stimulated something with wherever Shiro is, right? Maybe that's why he was flashing in and out.
That is true because we see Hagar on Orient, which is where Laura got the quintessence alchemy powers. So presumably, so maybe she is also connecting to the quintessence field. Yeah, maybe she's doing something with Shiro. Jeff, Shiro, thoughts, predictions?
Not really. I'm just really wondering when Lotor's going to turn because I'm pretty sure he is.
We're not past that. We're not past that yet. Like that was what last season was about, right? The beginning of last season.
He's going to fool us all.
Yeah.
I was trusting him at the end of last season, and I don't know why these 2 episodes did this, but now I do not trust him at all. Like nothing changed, but he just seems like I don't know, he just like something's up. Like he's not all good. I don't know.
It's the whole Allura ship thing.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
No, okay. So, since we're talking Lotor, let's talk the B plot with the romance drama. I think this is a super notable section of Voltron as a series because this show to me has been notable by completely avoiding like romance. It's like we think of characters as in terms of having romantic feelings, but the show has not really shown that at all. Like Lance is like, he hits on girls, but it's not like, it's never like deep feelings. Like I think this is the first episode where we see multiple characters clearly exhibiting, legitimate romantic feelings for one another. And, it's like 3 people, are all doing it all at once. It's like a lot. It's like, whoa, like, we're shipping now? Like, this is a thing? Like, this is, it's not just, we're not just speculating. Something's gonna happen this season. Something's gonna be canon. I mean, Allura and Lotor, are clearly displaying, feelings to a certain extent with one another. You can, I guess, argue whether Lotor's are genuine. Allura's seem to be genuine towards him, especially because she seems upset that, when the mice tell her that Lance likes her, and then Lance explicitly tells us that he has deep feelings for Allura. So that was like, what? We're the ship show now.
She also brought him back to life in the first episode.
Yes,
so
that's
going to do something to their relationship.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah. Okay, Justin, pick your side. Allura and Lance, or Allura and Lotor. I forget what their ship name is. So, which one?
I'm falling on Laurel Lance.
Why? You were feeling it more?
I'm feeling it. Okay, first off, I alluded earlier to the original Voltron because one thing I like to do is see how this show compares and what they've kept the same, what they've changed. For instance, making Allura darker skin compared to being almost see-through white in the original show. In the original, Lotor, when he found out he was half Altean, he became obsessed with Allura as being the only other Altean and would constantly try to kidnap her and make her his wife. And we're not getting that, thank goodness, but I do think we're heading towards an almost Jupiter ascending, and I hate to reference that as anything, but I think we're heading to a Jupiter ascending plot twist of like, he's only marrying you to get this power. Like, I think that's where we're going. because I think Lotor's going to be like, marry me to merge our empires, and then turn on her. I think it's a ruse. I really think this whole thing with Lotor and Allura is a ruse based purely on the original and just a gut feeling. Whereas Lance, I had always kind of written off the Laurel Lance stuff as Lance will hit on anyone, but his speech to the mice seemed really genuine, and it was the part of she makes me want to be a better person that I was like, okay, this is genuine. It's not just pretty alien girl. There's something real there, and so that's where I'm leaning.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you think Lotor's motivations are? That he wants the political expediency of an Allura alliance, or that he wants her quintessence field powers?
Quintessence.
Yeah.
It's all about quintessence to Lotor.
Yeah, that seems to be his only motivation. Okay, Jeff, Lance. So presumably, since you said you didn't think Lotor is bad, you're more on Allura and Lance.
I'm on neither of their sides, actually.
You're on team Allura alone.
Because, I mean, they're just like, because Lotor's devious, as all get out, and Lance, I just wasn't feeling it. Like, there's no foundation that's real. It seems like everything's been in his head, so.
Yeah. Okay. I think a lot of people will agree with neither of these two options, but there's other options that other people would say.
Yeah, exactly. No, because Lance and Altea and Girl from the End, that's who it's going to be.
Oh, we're shipping the Altea girl.
No,
already?
if anyone's with her, it's Keith.
Well, yeah, Keith is there, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hey, before we get into other options, Hayley, which side?
Despite what I just said about me not trusting Lotor anymore, I'm gonna go with Allura and Lotor for myself, because I don't know. I feel like it's kind of interesting, and also I feel like they match each other better in terms of like their life experiences and things. With how like many eons old they are and whatever else. And I don't know. I'm kind of like toying with the idea of how fun it would be and interesting it would be if Allura suddenly was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to join the Galra now, and like pieced out and went and just became like another Hagar kind of, but not as evil. But I kind of want her to like join with Lotor and then be like, we are now the rulers of the universe. It'd be an interesting storyline rather than her just being like, oh, everything's good and we'll be good and happy. Like, I kind of want her to go a little evil. I think that would be neat. And Lotor is the way to do that, I think, is he would push her towards that. Not that he's really doing anything evil right now, but he definitely has that in his back pocket. So I don't really feel the Lance and Allura very much at all, but I would be game for the Lotor and Allura myself.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm going to defend Lotor. I don't think that we are supposed to distrust him right now. I think that he's supposed to have earned our trust at this point in the show to a certain extent. Like, clearly.
That's why I don't trust him.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I don't trust him.
I like him too much. Like, I don't trust it.
He's done nothing wrong in these two episodes, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. When Zuko turned good, he still had his moments of Zuko being an angsty little ball of hothead fire scarness, while Lotor's like, I'm amazing now, isn't it grand?
Right, like Zuko in the season 2 finale. It's like he was the nicest he ever was right before he turned on again.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm definitely team Allura and Lance. That is the most tolerable Allura straight ship by far. Like, it is, Justin brings up the original series with Lotor and Allura, and that is a big reason why that ship does not work. And, that's why I'm skeptical the show is gonna do it, because it was clearly a problematic, horrible ship in the original series. Like, really, we're just gonna do that in a different form in the reboot. So, I don't know about that. I think this is probably leading to something else. The other people, everyone ships Allura with are Shiro and Keith. And I also don't like those ships, although I'll take Shiro over some of these other ones, except Lance, and Keith's the worst one. But don't fight me on that. Let's have Keith with this Altean girl. That's fine. But really, I have my hopes up a little bit for Clance this season, I have to say. There's a quote There's a quote from Laura in an EW interview that Keith and Lance, arm leg, George. I'm tracking it. I have my ear to the ground. We'll see. Don't spoil.
I think
us,
you got to let that go.
If this has been the most hopeful I've been for a few seasons, so we'll see. Yes, Justin.
I really want to see him just stick it to all the Allura Keith shippers and just have Allura end up with Keith's mom.
I agree with sticking it to the other.
It's just the ultimate screw you. Like,
yeah, let's ship Crowley with people. Yeah, no, okay. So, but how do we think?
We're gonna go the whole Allura with a Galra thing, like
maybe Allura and the Sand.
A Blades of Marmora is much more likely than Zarkon's son. I'm just saying.
Okay, this is the new hot ship. Justin's putting it out there. But how do we think the romance drama was handled this episode? We had a lot of Lance talking to himself and to Hunk and Pidge and lamenting about the mice and lamenting about not being able to be with Allura. Where he has this line, says, "I'm just a boy from Cuba, not a space prince like Lotor." So this is our first mention in show of Lance being Cuban, which we knew from like cons and stuff. But, yeah, it's, we're feeling for Lance here in this episode.
Yeah, like because I don't really ship them, I was like, meh about it, but I definitely see that that's probably the direction they're going to go based on this, like with him pouring his heart out and everything. I think they're going to end up putting them together. So that was sweet.
I feel like that's like
mice,
you didn't need the mice.
No, I didn't need the mice.
Yeah, I think in a traditional show, like, we would revert to the guy's feelings and this type of thing, which is like problematic and it's like rewarding, nice guy behavior. It's like Lance has no obligation. Laura has no obligation to be with Lance or anything like that.
No.
But why are we, I think a narrative question is like a narrative direction question. Why are we putting Lance's feelings out there like this? Is it to pay them off, like to eventually set him up with Allura? Is it so that Lance can move further as a person and say like he doesn't need to have so many romantic based feelings like guiding his life? Or is it that he realizes that he gets over being with Laura, realizes that's not what he wants. What he really wants is Keith. And then we have Clance.
And I just thought of something. What if this new Altan they met on the planet at the end of the Space Whale is like Allura's like long lost ex? And then she comes back. That would be awesome. That would change it all. But no, it would be a storyline.
Right, she could know Allura. Like that could actually know Allura.
You never know.
That's an interesting point. Yeah. Okay, so all these romance options, and it was just very notable how romantic like this B plot was, and it makes me think that we're going to pay off some ship in the end of the season.
For sure.
Which is the fact that you responded for sure to that is shocking for Voltron Legendary Defender. This is not a show that has said anything.
Like what happened? I
don't know. We turned very quickly here. So interested to see what happens with that. Let's talk. Anything else from Razor's Edge? Anyone wants to quickly get into?
No, we need a name for Space Wolf. And also Hot Dad, but mostly Space Wolf.
Space Wolf.
No, it's just Hot Dad.
Yeah.
Hot Dad's the name. Yeah, I think Space Wolf is a good name. Teleporting Space Wolf.
That is the dad's name, actually.
Is Space Wolf.
Uh-huh.
Wolf could be a
good to know.
That'd be a good crossover. Okay. And the mice, yeah.
They were a thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yep, that was a part of the episode. All right, let's talk Omega Shield. I have a lot less notes about this episode, although I think that like the action piece that dominates the second half with trying to get the radiation shield back online before the planet is hit again. I thought that that's all fine, and I think at least it's like an interesting like setup and what they're trying to repair there and stuff. And like it also revolves around Shiro. Just like, whatever. Like he can't like keep his hand connected to the thing to get, the generator or whatever back online. Like he's this trauma that's still inflicting him, or he's getting, hit because of, Hagar's, things that are happening to Hagar. Like that's connecting with him. So, something happening with Shiro, clearly setting us up to do something with this later. Yeah, and it's the setup for the reason we have this this generator fight thing is that Sendak. Did you guys remember that he existed coming into this season?
Yeah.
I'm glad he's becoming more of a thing.
I
remembered.
Okay, well, you just watch it. He was on his own and he was forceful, right? Like Hagar was not with him, controlling him there. So, I thought that was good. His edgy group name is called the Fire of Purification.
Is it really?
They said that, yeah. That's what it's called.
I missed that completely. That's amazing.
That's his rebellion. It's the Fire of Purification. So, wow. I think Sendak's just like a giant edgelord. And,
well, it sounds like that might be something Hagar might have come up with.
Yeah, wait. Hagar's
Keith has a teleporting space wolf, and Sendak's the edgelord.
Keith's always been an edgelord, to be honest. But fight me. But yeah, the Fire of Purification. I thought that was great. So yeah, Sendak. I like Sendak here. I'm on Team Hagar because Sendak's great. Hagar's great. We also have the generals with Hagar, and we briefly see them this episode. But yeah, that seems to be the main rebellion point to Lotor's rule of the Galran Empire is Sendak at this point. And
bad choice, Hagar.
Sendak seems very competent here.
Yeah.
He's ruthless. He shoots the shield, intending to doom the entire planet. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's good ruthless. Like, I don't know what the point of that was, but
no, that's the thing. I was like, "What are you doing, Sendak?" Like, it wasn't like a trap for them or something. They could have left, and like Voltron would not have died. But and they took care of it, and they were fine. So he could have done something more intellectual, I think, to actually make anything happen.
Yeah, I mean, he's like your one weakness. Heroes of every story in the history of the world is that you care about people, and then he shoots the shield, so they have to protect them.
The thing is, the Galra Empire values combat over all else, and I think we saw that in this episode in Hunk's teaching.
That's what they're trying to tie that into. Yeah, is
so the fact that Sendak didn't launch the smartest attack makes sense.
Very true.
Yeah, so let's talk.
It's not smart, but it is violent.
Yeah, because Hunk learns that violence is like the origins of the Galran Empire. Learns what Repet means, and he gets training from Dayak, Lotor's governess / nanny. What do we think of those Hunk scenes with Dayak? I thought they were pretty funny.
Yeah, I love it. You're gonna hurt me, so I'm smart.
Yes. Yeah, it's
I guess
just,
I am getting smart.
It was a great pairing. She was a great foil to Hunk, and it was just really nice, like that the show let Hunk step up into the spotlight for what the Palins were doing here. And I love when it comes back when he's connecting with the on the base of the radiation shield, like the Galran people there, and he like inspires them. He like to stop their quibble of who they want to side with. And he uses his very rudimentary knowledge that every Galran should know of to inspire them. But it still is a great character moment for Hunk. I think like he was so far set back that we need a lot more than this to have him be a bigger presence on the show. But this is a good start. I'm not confident that the show is going to continue with Hunk getting this much characterization.
It'd be neat if they actually did make him like a mediator between the two cultures, like Laura was saying. That'd be neat, but
how much of that is this is just a setup in this episode for the climax of Hunk intervening in that dispute, or are we trying to set up Hunk for a bigger role like Justin was talking about a while ago? Yeah, that would be a lot. Because
it would be very useful, like it's a completely different culture, and like species. Like there's a lot to learn in that, and it would be helpful for them, especially if Voltron is going to work with Lotor and become kind of not really part of the Galran Empire, but kind of part of the Galran Empire. It would be good for them to actually know what's going on, like socially and culturally. So maybe Hunk will have a moment. We'll see.
I feel like we're setting up where the Paladins are going to be post Voltron. Keith will be a Blade Marmora, Hunk as like an ambassador of some kind, Pidge go back with her dad, Lance, I don't know, settle down with Allura, I'm hoping. Shiro do his space dad wander thing. I don't know, but I think we're starting to set up throughout the show. Okay, you're going to end up here. You're going to end up here. And everyone's kind of getting maybe not a plot for now, but a plot for later.
That'd be good for Hunk. I think that would work really well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice payoff for like an epilogue type thing. I mean, we have 31 more episodes of Voltron Legendary Defender as of right, 26 after the season. And, it's a little bit ways away. I'd like to see that more of an active force within the show itself. But that could be a season 3, the third chunk of 26 episodes, set up to what we're doing with Hunk. But yeah, liked it here. Hope it's more down the road. The other thing as mentioned is we have Lance saves Allura, and then Allura brings Lance back to life in this scene that I made the screenshot of the podcast, and it's this gorgeous scene, and you're feeling the romance between them, the Allurans. I guess this is like partly what sets Lance up to next episode to like pine after Allura so much is she saves his life. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, I thought this was a great sequence.
It also paid off why she reacted like she did when the mice spoke to her. Like she wasn't just like put off guard with it. She actually cared about him. Right,
like that. Allura, the only reason Allura would be like not thrilled with that is because she cares about Lance, and she doesn't, she doesn't feel the same way, so she doesn't like that he has those feelings because she'll get hurt from that. Yeah, we've seen more of a connection between the two of them. I think they had a great sequence last season and the season before. She's the new blue lion, right?
Yes.
Not that we saw that much of that these 2 episodes. And, so they have that connection. And yeah, I think it's good to set up whatever we're doing with the two of them, wherever we're going with that. This is a good scene there. And yeah, lastly, the Hagar stuff, she goes to Oriand. We have the Shiro stuff with her. And then she seems to be changing back into a Minerva, so we don't see enough of it to really know where it's going. But yeah, very interested to see. Hopefully, next episode or the episode after that, what's happening with her.
Mm-hmm. I'm so happy they're doing something with her and the generals, because honestly, like during the first episode, I was thinking about how like I really like this show, but I don't have any like connection to a lot of the characters. Like, feel like they're just like, oh, there's Lance, he's cool, whatever. But Hagar and the generals, I actually care about their storylines and their characters and what happens to them. I don't know why, but like I love them all. So I was so happy to see that things are happening with her that are really big like that, and maybe something's to come with it. And also tying into Shiro, so they're probably not going to just shuttle her off to her own storyline. She has a storyline relating to the main cast, which was good. So I was excited to see them pop back up for even like a minute, but it was good to see them, at least.
Yeah, I think the show kind of underestimates how good Hagar is.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I hope she's a big part of the conclusion of the season. I think she definitely will be with the Shiro stuff, but yeah, very interested to see what she's doing here. And I hope the generals also play a big part. They did not in this episode, but
no.
Yeah, we'll
please
see
come back.
Yeah. Any last Hagar theories with her turning into a Minerva? Is this a permanent thing?
Probably.
Yes.
I think so.
I feel like it's more a sense of just like proximity to whatever, and she'll turn back when she leaves the field. But that was just a sense from like the framing of the scene. I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The only reason she's able to do that is because she's on Orion. So okay, if she's powerful enough to like keep that going after.
Well, maybe she's like tapped into the quintessence like Allura did more fully, because I guess she turned into Hagar. I'm trying to remember now what happened, but it seemed like something went wrong before, right? If I'm remembering it right. But this, maybe she was doing it and it's just more complete now, so it brought her back to herself, if that makes any sense at all.
I don't remember if she did the Orion thing. That
I don't think they went to Orion. They fall into like a quintessence portal-y something or other, right?
She had the dark quintessence portal.
Yeah, so maybe this just cleanse that out of her.
Right. I'm wondering how much of her research into the other side of the quintessence relates to that quintessence field. Like, is that what we're talking about in the Legend Begins episode with her research? Is this something separate? The space between dimensions, is that the quintessence field? Is it all the same thing, or are there different things?
Is it like dark matter and then normal matter?
Yeah, like dark quintessence. Like yeah. I don't know. So hoping to get some quintessence answers. Still very vague with all of this
super
stuff.
Vague.
Yeah, but a lot of exciting plot threads going to these last 5 episodes. Yeah, I mean, Shiro, Minerva, who's that Altean, the romance stuff, a lot happening. Space Wolf, that's most important. Yeah. I'm most invested in Space Wolf now.
Wolf Watch.
Wolf Watch, yeah. Hashtag Wolf Watch. Okay. Let us know what the updates on Wolf Watch are. No, but I don't know how we update Wolf Watch without spoilers. So I guess we'll hold off on Wolf Watch until the end. Yeah. Okay. Final thoughts on these 2 episodes. Anything else you wanted to get into? Anything you're looking forward to, Justin?
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to the next episodes.
Really, Justin?
Yeah,
wow.
Just in general, I'm excited.
Okay, just excited in general. Jeff?
Well, so on this first episode with the Omega Shield, I was a little bit disappointed just because there's an opportunity for some like massive repercussions from this Shiro thing. Like I was waiting for the moment when his freak out resulted in the deaths of thousands of millions of people. Like whoa, this happened, really big, impact. We're looking for a moment like that, and we didn't get it. They pulled it off at the very last second, as they do, because whatever. But other than that, it's all good. Good pair of episodes.
Yeah. Solace in Shiro stuff, hopefully. Yeah, I wonder that Shiro stuff will come this season. I wonder if there will be major repercussions when he ultimately does turn. Like, is it just that they're gonna instantly defeat Dark Shiro, or is he gonna kill a paladin? Presumably not. That's too dark for the show. But I do wonder if there will be any major stakes happening with him. Hayley, final thoughts.
I think they were good. I like that it feels kind of like we're settling into a lot of the storylines and more plottier elements, which then are getting us closer to the characters, which is nice. So I'm liking where the show's heading. I'm excited to see what the next couple episodes are, especially now that it seems like Keith's mom, Corellia, is probably not just going to be shuttled off as like a character that just goes off into space. It seems like her and Space Wolf are probably going to come along with Keith, which is nice. Yep. Classics. And then I'm really excited about the Hagar and Shiro stuff to come.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we'll see all of that. It's going to be great. Very exciting last few episodes, and in the immediate future, we have a D&D episode next episode. It's going to be. I haven't seen it, but they've been hyping it. Done D&D. It's going to be great. Okay. So let us know what you thought of our discussion. Anything we talked about, without getting into spoilers, in the comments, YouTube comments, or overlyanimated.com. And it's join the discussion on Discord. We have a Voltron spoilers channel, overlyanimated.com/discord. Support us via patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all our current patrons, especially our patrons of the podcast, Steve, aka frequent commenter Steve, and thanks to our patron executive producers John Ryan, Steve, Alex, Andy, and Hugh. Here's more of From Days of Long Ago by the Shakeups. Check out their new album Legendary Defenders, link in the podcast description. You'll hear more from them throughout the rest of the season, and we'll have a podcast up next on episodes 3 and 4 of season 6. So that's all gonna be great. Let us know what you thought, and we will see you next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.